everybody. Welcome to another episode of the HP Critical podcast. My name is Jarrell, and I am joined this week by Christy
Hi, everybody.
and Gabe
Hello.
and Brandon.
Hello, everyone.
And I
The hell was that?
apologize that my
I was the Gold Ranger pose. I just felt like doing it for some reason. Don't worry about it. Continue.
I apologize that my voice sounds like this week. It is because I am sick. But think of it as like an ASMR podcaster or something really cool.
Yeah, that's what this is. I'm gonna go into that voice too
Anyway,
for
it's
now.
been a okay.
until I get bored of it.
It's been quite a while since we've been able to have the podcast crew together, and I'm very excited to have my wonderful friends here. And we're gonna give you the latest and greatest in video game news for the week. There's a lot to talk about, but we're gonna try to condense this because the more I talk, the worse my voice is gonna be. So first of all, I would like to give a shout out to Gabe, who has finished 3 games this year so far, and Brandon, who has finished like how many this year?
We're currently at 5.
Go off.
And Brandon, who has currently finished 5. Chrissy, how many games have you finished this year?
0.
Same. we are both stacking it up at a big fat 0.
0.
But we're gonna check in also. Another check in. Our fantasy league is going strong. Gabe's got some points on the board. So does Rodrigo. As do I. I'll probably end up winning. I'm gonna go ahead and make that prediction now. I'm going to bet
I don't
on
know,
myself.
bro.
I'm gonna bet.
You got a
Do we
big
get-
lead to catch up to.
It's only
So,
because
do we
Gabe...
get anything if Jarrell wins?
I mean, if you bet on me, I will be betting $100 on myself. If you would like to win $100, then bet against me, and if I lose, it'll be yours. Anyway, yeah, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to end up updating our status on HPCritical. Also, as far as HPCritical goes, if you're listening to this, we are now only a podcast. Things happen, things change. We are only going forward as a podcast. If you are interested in seeing any other streams that we used to have, you can go to Brandon's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/MrLudon, and check out all of the previous content that we used to have right over there. And with that, I think that we are good to go to talk about some video game news. It's been like 2 weeks, so there's a lot of stuff here that I want to try to catch up on in a timely fashion. So let's start with Final Fantasy XVI's medieval approach to diversity. You know what?
Medieval indeed.
I don't think that's a good place to start. So we're going to be talking a lot about Square Enix today. We're going to have some Ninja Turtles conversation. We're going to have a little bit of Capcom. Capcom had their spotlight, which we didn't get to talk about. We'll talk about Dragon Ball Z and a lot of stuff in between. But we are not going to talk about Final Fantasy XVI diversity issue. I'm just going to go ahead and skip that because I don't want to be sad.
That's fair.
So let's start with the next annual shareholders meeting where Yosuke Matsuda will no longer be president of Square Enix. His role will be succeeded by Takashi Kiryu. So you guys might know this is the very famous for NFTs in Square Enix games president who will, after a less than desirable year, no longer be the president at Square.
It's not like his successor's any better.
Yeah. So that's
We're
that.
still going on. We're still going forward with the NFTs for some ungodly reason.
Yeah, we've got
God
a
knows
whole,
why.
NFTs, more like no fucking thanks.
we've got a whole look at their upcoming year. And did any of you guys actually see the Symbiogenesis trailer?
Man, as soon as I heard the NFTs were attached to that shit, the like, interest went to -5 for me.
Is there a reason I should when there's NFTs involved?
Yes, because it is actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. So there are like these basic avatars, which are like just white girl, white boy, and like they all look the same, but they have different hair and then they have different hats. And my understanding is that you can purchase NFTs to customize your character's hat. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. It is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's not even like a full character customization, and it's really funny. Worth your time to check it out if you'd like a laugh. Sony might be forced to reveal how much it pays to keep games off of Xbox Game Pass because a judge in the FTC case has sided with Microsoft to force Sony to reveal records, internal documentation, and emails from the company's PlayStation units. This is from TheVerge.com. Wild guess. How much you guys think Sony's paying to keep games off of Game Pass? Because we have talked about how much money they are making as far as Game Pass goes.
Like I'm literally thinking it's gonna be like some millions, man. Like that just seems like to the extent that Sony is willing to go, keep certain games off their competitors.
They say thousands.
I would think in the millions, to be honest.
Millions is a little too much
for Sony. If that means money, all that money is going directly to them, I think they'd be willing to do it.
I have no predictions. The Capcom Spotlight happens, and I don't think any of you watched it, did you?
I did, actually.
The Capcom Spotlight for the most recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched
it.
I did watch it, actually.
The Resident Evil demo?
Okay.
Yeah, that chainsaw demo, which has like some crazy hidden difficulties, apparently. I haven't played it, but I've just been hearing stories.
What did you guys think of the Capcom Spotlight?
What a snooze fest. Holy shit.
Well, here's the thing.
Gosh.
Here's the thing with this is a thing I've noticed, especially with Capcom presentations. They tell you exactly what's going to be on there. Like there's no surprises really. Like they'll say it's going to talk about these 4 games, and they will talk about those 4 games. They don't like throw anything in there. So they said the Resident Evil we talked about, that happened. They talked about Street Fighter, that happened. Exoprimal. I remain excited for Ghost Trick because it's just a game that I've always wanted to try and heard great things about. But I didn't quite know what they were adding to this remake, so hearing that was nice. It's crazy to me that for Ghost Trick, they're remixing the entire soundtrack. That's crazy. That's awesome. And even adding new songs. So, excited for that. Just wish it wasn't coming out the same day as Rain Code. That's sad.
You okay, Jarrell?
Yep. It's so funny when Gabe has to yawn and he does this like weird little mouse thing with his face.
I try to, because I don't want to open my mouth and seem like disrespectful, even though we are talking about the Capcom showcase, which is pretty damn boring. But like,
I appreciate you not doing that, but you make this really funny face that makes you look like a mouse.
Also, I want to just say this about Exoprimal as well. I had no interest in that game whatsoever. Now I'm about 50% interest. 50% because I saw the gameplay and it looks fun as hell. And the other 50% is because it has like a battle pass, which I don't have time for battle pass games if I'm being perfectly honest. But there is a open beta that is going to be active from March 17th to March 19th. So if I have time, I will give that a shot and see if the gameplay is fun enough to win me over in that regard. But we'll see.
I was talking to Grayson about this on
I saw that.
Because I am going to be playing the shit out of Exoprimal because I have Game Pass. It is coming to Game Pass day 1, and it is 100% one of those games where you get your friends and you fucking kill dinosaurs in a mech suit. How is that not fun? And you know what's gonna happen?
Yeah, it looks like a blast.
It's gonna fucking like be a bunch of fun trash, and then the servers are gonna go down, and it's gonna be over, and we're just gonna have fun with the time that we have with it. It's gonna be like Animal Crossing. Nobody's gonna be playing it anymore, but we're all gonna have a great time killing dinosaurs in our mech suits. And that's what
I guess that's the one good thing about Animal Crossing not being a live service game is like you can always go back to those games. Hell, I could if I wanted to, I could pick up my DS right now and play Wild Worlds if I wanted to.
Into a positive for Animal Crossing.
That's what I don't know. That's you
bashing the Capcom Spotlight, but hey, at least Animal Crossing you can go back to.
I can play that whenever I want.
That's true.
It's never gonna whether you want to is up to the individual, but you can always do so.
That's true. Gabe, go ahead. Tell me, Capcom Spotlight, boring as shit.
It was boring. What else is there to say? You can't really.
So boring about it?
It was like it's like Brandon said. They talked about everything they said was going to come out, and like it was one of those things where you could 100% could have just kept it in a tweet, like they've been doing for the past however many months with Street Fighter. It's like, oh, here, look at this new character. I don't know. It was just very. Nothing about it interested me. Not even the dinosaur game, and I love dinosaurs. I actually just finished putting on Jurassic Park downstairs for like the 20th time.
I wish Kyle was here.
She loves dinosaurs.
Yeah, she was interested in Exo Primal, wasn't she?
I don't remember. It's been so long.
I mean, it's Game Pass, and so she could just
She
play it.
no
I guess.
longer has Game Pass. Kelly is playing one game for the rest of her life.
That's Final Fantasy 14.
That's it. She's
Yeah.
That's all she's playing. TMNT.
Yeah, TMNT.
Mutant Mayhem. I mean, tell me like why you.
Oh,
wanted to talk
yeah.
About it.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so Nickelodeon did their Kids' Choice Awards, and then they just announced the casting all there, and then 2 days later there was a trailer, and the casting is interesting. Like based on like all, I'm not gonna read through every single actor. I'll do some highlights, but all 4 of the Ninja Turtle actors are actual teenagers, which is the first time they've ever done that. It's always been like either young adults or, in the case whenever they have to bring back the original Turtle Boys actors, they're quite elderly men. But no, all the actors are legitimately like teenagers. They got Jackie Chan as Master Splinter, which is awesome, and this movie is like full of like if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, like I'll just say a bunch of names. If you know, you know, like Superfly, Bebop, Rocksteady, Mondo Gecko, Wingnut, Leatherhead, Ray Fillet, Genghis Frog. So I want to also point out that I know, like, I'm a casual Ninja Turtles fan, so I knew some of these names.
Casual?
But
You're a what?
Like, what?
You
You're
liar!
considered casual?
oh yeah, because I've barely seen the '80s cartoon. That's considered casual among the fan base.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm kind of
no.
disagreeing with that. You
Right,
are more
okay,
of a
so
casual-
okay. We won't say you're a super fan then in that regards, but you're definitely a step or two above a casual
100%.
fan.
100%.
Okay, I'll take step above casual. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But the reason why I say that is because like some of those names I was like who, and some of those names I knew exactly who they were.
All of
But
those
there's
names
this-
I was like, who? So that's like you are not a casual fan.
Whatever. Anyway, so like there was a YouTuber that I watched, the YouTube channel is called Black Nerd Comedy. He loves Ninja Turtles. Now he is what I would consider 100% super fan of Ninja Turtles. And I watched this video. He talked about every single one of these characters, where they're from, who voiced them previously, video game and stuff like that. It was a very informative thing. I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this movie. They're going with the animation style similar to Spider-Verse. Like, I love that Spider-Verse is making more people be like, you know, have that same kind of art style. They did it with the Puss in Boots movie recently, and it was great. It looked great. And now Turtles is going to like a similar style as well, so it looks
I
exciting.
don't know that I would attribute that to Spider-Verse, but I also don't want to go down that conversation path. So,
You don't want to go down that spider hole.
Dragon Ball.
Down that sewer hole. Heyo. Anyway,
Dragon
Oh
Ball
wait,
Z.
wait! Before we go to Dragon Ball Z, if you're a casual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, I would look at the cast and see who's voicing who. I think
Yeah.
that would kind of push you into wanting to watch the movie.
yeah, that cast is stacked. Seth Rogen as Bebop, and then John Cena as Rocksteady. That's
Literally
pretty
don't
cool.
care about either one of them, so you're doing a really bad job at convincing me.
That's. I was gonna see this movie regardless,
White guy and
but the
white guy
cast
number
is like,
two? Great.
yeah, but two out of the
Also,
4
it takes
turtles
place
are
in America.
black,
Awesome.
and April is black
Finally.
again. No, she was black.
Yeah,
in,
she's black. Yeah, she's black again.
That's why I said
She's-
finally. Dragon Ball
Finally
Z
again?
Budokai. No, you said again. I said finally.
Okay.
Anyway, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi was announced, and it's got some people excited. The same people that are also excited for.
Yeah, no. I just gotta explain why. I just gotta explain why.
Go
So
ahead.
I want to give the thesis statement that this game is almost certainly not going to be balanced the same way that Fighters was, where Fighters is balanced to the point where, you know, it's on Evo even this year. But Budokai Tenkaichi, the reason why that game was so special to DBZ fans was because it was just like the ultimate toy box for the because you had over 120 different characters from the Dragon Ball Z franchise. There are just some characters who are just objectively the best characters in that game that you could just destroy, and there's some characters that are just not good, but you could use them, and it was just so fun to just pick literally whoever you wanted, or do team matches where you can make teams absolutely absurd teams, or you can keep it true to the anime and just have them go at it. And then there's story modes that, you know, follow the story with the characters. More accurate than ever before because they have all the characters that can fill those roles, even like the minor character who you don't care about. And then they also throw in some what if stories to like make things more interesting as well. No, it's just a Dragon Ball Z playground, and having that series back with, you know, more up to date graphics and now, you know, introducing characters from Dragon Ball Super into the mix as well. It's just I'm hoping they understand why Budokai Tenkaichi was so popular. That it is, I think what people really like about it is the fact that you can play as all these different characters and that you just move around. Like I don't want them to overthink it. Just like it's people just literally want all the characters in there and just for it to be at least fun, even if it's not balanced.
Well, based on the trailer, it looks great. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed.
How do I not to say anything about
Brandon
the Dragon
took
Ball
all
Z
your
game?
time. Hogwarts. I'm just kidding. I didn't know you wanted to say something. I'm sorry. What would you like to say about Dragon Ball Z?
Well, I was going to be the opposite of Brandon and say I'm actually very scared for this game because in an age where everything is DLC and constant slow releases, I don't think we're going to get all the characters like we usually do. Like back then, the DLC was just making a new game. So now we're going to get number 4 and it's like, oh, cool, you have, you know, Goku, Vegeta, but oh, now you got to pay for Jiren and Lord Beerus and all that stuff. So I'm very iffy about what they're going to be doing.
You're so right. Damn it, you're so right.
Because literally all Bandai's past Dragon Ball games have been, here's the base game, and then, for example, Fighter Z is a perfect example. You got a handful of characters, and then you had to pay for characters like base form Goku, which, why am I paying for the base form of a character that's already in the game? It didn't make any sense. So I'm very nervous about how the game's going to turn out.
You're right.
Hopefully I'm wrong. We'll see.
You're probably not, though. I will also say that Xenoverse 2, that game is still getting DLC. And that came out like that game came out like quite a while ago. Like they just announced that I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen Superhero. The main villain from Dragon Ball Superhero is getting added to the game. So
Am I okay?
Yeah, you're great.
This is like the most like teenage boy podcast right now, and that's okay.
Kamehameha.
I don't want that to sound like it's negative because it's not. It's just really cool to have like just you guys that are excited about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Dragon Ball Z like it's 1999.
For real.
This
has been a very nostalgic 10 minutes
of you and Gabe talking about. Okay, Christy and I are gonna move on. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed for a PS4 and Xbox One to May 5th. There's been some conversation about why, as the state of the game's release, but you know, not everybody has those issues and it doesn't matter. What does matter is that the Genshin Impact voice actor has asked fans to please bathe before attending concerts. Which
good.
Ri Takahashi asked people to please take showers.
Hey, just a message to everyone listening to this podcast. If what she's saying is directed to you, y'all nasty. Take showers daily, twice a day if necessary.
All of our podcast members bathe, Brandon.
Not members. I'm talking to the audience.
Christy said she doesn't bathe. I'm out of here.
No, Christy said this is disgusting. I'm out of here.
I'm talking to anyone listening to this podcast that don't bathe regularly.
All of our listeners are clean people, so they don't need.
You know what? I'll give y'all the benefit of the doubt. Tell y'all stinky friends instead.
All of our listeners don't have stinky friends. This is not the HPCritical demographic. You're preaching to the wrong choir.
You know what? You're right. This entire statement matters not.
Exactly. What does matter is that Takahashi posted a hand-drawn guide on Twitter aimed at helping people enjoy her first concert by properly bathing beforehand, among other things, which is the best part of this is the hand-drawn like Twitter post of like, please bathe and do these other things before you come to the concert and come up to me, which includes like wearing a mask and some other things. But it was just really wonderful to see and also hilarious. Like, as Brandon already said, I don't have to tell our listeners because we're all clean, but LOL at everyone else. GameStop, if you pre-ordered the Resident Evil 4 Collector's Edition in-store at GameStop, you ain't getting it because GameStop's Collector's Edition won't arrive in stores and will not be fulfilled. Another
L for GameStop.
Yeah, and I brought this one up just because I feel like you guys have. I don't know if all of you have, but I know that you guys have had issues with GameStop in the past and fulfilling orders, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to know, like, I know that this is going to make you feel even stronger about not pre-ordering from GameStop, but I wanted to know if you had any other thoughts about this because I know one of the biggest conversation pieces around this was like, why even? Like, what happened in the production line that made it so that you guys couldn't have these collector's editions ready for pre-order? And why are you pre-ordering if you can't fulfill them? Like, what happened down the line that made this happen? And why even, like, do this? So I know that was a point of conversation. However, I do want to open the floor if anybody wants to talk about this before I move on.
No, it's just it's nothing specific to this story. It's just real shitty because pre-orders. The whole point is just to like guarantee that you get the product by paying for it ahead of time, and when that's not fulfilled, it defeats the whole purpose of pre-ordering in the first place. Like pre-ordering has become this game for companies to essentially get their sales of a said game early, and in some cases get additional product out available, but at the end of the day, it's supposed to guarantee you a product, and if it's not doing that, then you have failed in all regards.
Well, not even that. It's more like it's guaranteed on sales.
Mm-hmm. That too,
It's
yeah.
not because I think that there's only some places where you actually do have to put money down at first. Other places, it's like, oh yeah, you just have to. I think for Best Buy, I don't even put any money down if I do online pre-order. It's just like it holds a copy of my game for me, essentially. But pre-orders is just some way for companies to be like, these are the guaranteed sales I will have as long as, the hype train keeps moving along that on its course and whatnot, and people don't cancel. This is what we're going to be making. That's a guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
I think you bring up a very good point in that, yeah, GameStop requires you to at least put $5 down, right?
Minimum,
You
yeah.
you
Deposit.
have to deposit money there. So
And then I think for the Resident Evil, like if you do online pre-order, it's like it automatically takes out your money or something, right?
Yeah,
Or
I
I
think when
think
you
it's like for
online
some
pre-order, it's
pre-orders.
full price.
really,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just thought it was so strange to do this for in store. Like I felt like this is something they always do online, and they cancel online
Yeah.
orders. But I thought it was very strange to cancel all the in
Yeah.
store pre-orders. It was such
This
a
is like, yeah,
backwards
this is
thing.
weird.
Apparently, I've been hearing reports that some in-store pre-orders were canceled as well too.
Uh,
Or called up to say, "Hey, we won't be able to fulfill your
Oh
pre-order."
yeah, that's what this is about. All the in-store ones, not even the online
It's
ones. I
like
don't know
it's
about the online
insane.
ones. This was all the.
Oh no, it's the online ones are getting canceled too.
Oh shit.
Some people got it in like the second it dropped. The link was active, and they got the notification saying, "Hey, your online pre-order is canceled." And they're like, "But this was our time."
Yeah, what are they doing? They're probably
Yeah.
doing what Take Two is doing.
Yeah, what's Take Two doing,
Thank
Jerome?
you, Brendan. Take Two is laying people off in its private division
Damn.
label and other divisions. That's not funny. I'm sorry.
That's not funny.
Alan, I just said it's not funny. Okay, Alan Lewis says the cuts will better align our organization with our long-term priorities, and the impact on dev teams is minimal. Don't believe it. I call bullshit on
No,
that.
I also call bullshit.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Cracks down on toxic behavior with an explicit ban on misgendering other people, even outside of events. That is fucking awesome. Good on you,
That is
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that is awesome. They should also ban people that don't bang. Going back to
Okay,
the earlier
okay,
story.
okay,
That's
okay.
like half their player base right there.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's
Get
a
them out.
difference between like misgendering people and being stank.
And that
Now, like
No, yes, there's quite a difference. There's quite a difference.
like now that demographic probably does cross over because I do believe that people who misgender people are also stank, but like there's enough significant there's a significant enough gap there that we're not gonna ban all the people who not bait, but like you just gotta do it, like you just have to bait. Like this is I don't know
Listen. All I'm saying is you spending $100 on the booster pack to get the rarest card. You should also spend like $5 on a bar soap. That's all I'm
You're
saying.
right. I think I showed you guys a picture of a coworker of mine went to and MT. Okay, so anyway, importantly, the rules state that the offenses can take place anywhere at any time, not just the event venue, by enrolled competitors, providing it impacts upon our connections to a sanctioned or official event. If the offender is not a competitor, they may be enrolled in the event by force, just to ensure the disqualification is on their record. That is the best shit ever. Like, even
Funny.
if you're not signed up to be a competitor, they will fucking sign you up just to ban you. Like, that's
That's
the best
great.
shit ever.
That's great.
That is so funny. Like, he's just like, I wasn't even signed up. We don't give a fuck. You're never coming back.
That's like
Ugh.
there's like a joke in like George Lopez where they say I'm gonna fire them so hard, and then I'm gonna put an ad in the newspaper. They'll call up that job, and it'll be me, and I'll say, and I'm gonna fire them there too.
Yep. You weren't even competing, and now you are, just to be disqualified.
Man.
Be respectful of people. Overwatch will not be doing creator skins anytime soon. The team is much stricter when considering collaborations with real people. Associate producer Amy Dennett said it would have to be a really good reason that we feel is a good fit. And I don't know if you guys know why this is a thing, but a couple of years ago, Blizzard, one of the I think it was for Overwatch. One of the Overwatch winners ended up having some sexual assault allegations against them, and it was also someone who they had done a skin for, and they were like, shit, what the fuck do we do now? Same thing with, McCree and like the entire Blizzard situation. So now we got a One Punch Man collaboration, but we will not be getting any creator skins, and I think that is just the smartest legal move for them because, like, duh.
Yeah.
And also we've already talked about April O'Neil and the way that she looks in the Mutant Mayhem upcoming movie. And I was gonna do this whole conversation about like the racism and fat phobia that have played into her presentation, but I'm gonna try to keep things light and positive and move on. Just know that I have thoughts. Lintz Works is coming to a close. It is another development company. I don't remember what they made aside from Origami and Origami 2. And I'm not going to look it up. So we're going to keep it moving. Starfield.
Cool.
Did you guys see the Starfield trailer?
Sure did.
No.
It
I've been behind.
It has an official release date now.
I saw the release date, but go ahead.
I saw the release date. It was in the middle of towards the end of the
Do
trailer.
you know what the release date is?
Don't remember. I saw the date
because I don't either.
I instantly forgot.
I was asking because I don't remember, because I watched that trailer and like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, it looks so good," and I was like, "This looks like exactly what they showed us before, which doesn't look good."
Looks like No Man's Sky with different textures.
With worse textures. Sorry, but
Yes.
I don't work there, so. Anyway, the Little Mermaid trailer came out, and I'm very excited, and I'm going to talk about it because I'm the host. But more importantly, I wanted to talk about some controversy revolving the poster that came out. The first poster that came out for the Little Mermaid, with its release date, had Halle Bailey sitting on the rock with the sun, and she's in the middle of the water, etc. And a lot of people had issues with this and overarching theme of really dark films from Disney lately. I know that you guys watch Marvel and Disney movies, so I'm okay to ask you this. And the trailer's in our chat. I mean, the poster is in our chat, so if you haven't seen it, please go look at it. How do you guys feel? Do you agree that a lot of like what's been showing up on Disney has been really dark and grainy and like not colorful at all? And why do you think that is?
And gray.
Or rather, how do you feel about that grayed out thing? Like, is it bothering you? Is it?
I know
it has to do vibrant color, to be honest.
I know it has to do with like eye comfortability watching their films, but like someone brought up Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man and the Whoa,
Quantumania.
Quantum Realm, Quantumania. There we go. Like that's supposed to be. He's not even listening to what I'm saying. Like this. He asked us the question. He decides to walk away. So now I have to stall my answer a little bit longer until he comes back because I want him to hear what I have to say. But it looks like he just went past the door. So I'm gonna tell you guys anyway. That I saw people were talking about. They had the unedited version of Quantumania next to the edited final version of Quantumania, and it's like Quantumania was supposed to be a very colorful movie. Like a lot of the things there were like Christy said, they were vibrant colors. There were big bright blues, big bright reds. But like the final version was very like it was dark, and it's I get
It was
like I get
darkened.
yeah, and like I know it has to do with like keeping our eyes comfortable while we watch movies, but like torture us a little bit, man. Just make our eyes hurt if you're gonna give us a little bit more color, if that's what it takes. Because yeah, the
And
movies are a
it's
little
one
too
more
dark.
vibrant colors. Is that so hard to ask? Like, look at how cute Sprigatito looks in the background. Well, you can't see Sprigatito anymore, but look at how cute Sprigatito looks with
So
his
cute.
his or her little vibrant colors. Just look.
I have a bunch of Sprigatito stuff. Ever since I got that Sprigatito tattoo, I felt like a dumbass because like none of y'all stopped me from getting it. And I was like, what if I don't like
You
this
already
Pokemon
had it
in a
on
year?
skin.
I know,
What are
but
you
y'all
supposed
should
to
have
do?
y'all should have thought about what I would be doing on that day and stopped
I have a
me.
Pikachu.
And no, I know, but like you love Pikachu. I don't know Sprigatito. I just met him a couple of months ago. Why did
Yeah,
I
that's
get
my-
it picked on my skin? Because no
Yeah,
one
that's-
stopped me because you guys aren't real
Yeah.
friends.
You're right, dog. I haven't hit the Sabrina's gym lately. My psychic power is kind of weak right now.
That's why you gotta be psychic enough to stop me from getting tattoos that I might regret.
Facts. I'll head back to the gym.
Oh, so
back
you
to the
regret
gym later
poor
this
little Sprigatito?
Not yet. He's super cute. I don't, you can't even see him. Whatever. Not yet. But I still
Nah,
haven't
you-
gotten my actual favorite Pokemon. Also, what is this? What did y'all have y'all Disney conversation? I'm sorry, I had to go get tissue because I ran out of tissue.
Yeah, I even tried
Yes.
to stall as much as I could.
Well, I appreciate the stalling. So I guess the consensus was that the movies are just too dark.
Yeah.
They are a bit too dark, and I'll
Hey,
supply. I'll
because look
supply
at how
one.
nice Sprigatito looks. Yes, Sprigatito does hurt our eyes, but look at how vibrant.
I'll throw in
And look
like
at the
one other thing as
Pikachu.
well. The sleeping Pikachu.
cute. My Pikachu, buddy.
Yeah, last thing I'll throw out before we move on is the fact that like what game like yeah, eye comfortability is definitely a thing. I think also there's just this like thought that if it's going to be this live action version of an existing, this is specifically going to the Disney remakes at this point, but like if it's got to be like this remake that the older audience wants it like darker and more mature as opposed to the vibrant colored version that the original cartoon was, so they're just like we got to make it different.
Fucking Little Mermaid. Like, how dark is it gonna be? Like,
Gotta make it look gritty, man.
I mean, it's underwater. It's pretty dark.
so was The Way of Water, and that wasn't dark. I don't know. I didn't watch
That
it.
movie was not. No, that movie was not dark. That movie was had beautiful colors.
And that was underwater. So Sony has submitted a new documentation to the CMA worrying that Microsoft could get this meddle with Call of Duty on PlayStation to make it unappealing to play on. Do you guys think that this is a ploy, or do you think that's actually something Microsoft would do?
Sounds like something Microsoft would do.
With the consideration that most likely more people are playing on PlayStation.
We're gonna
Yeah.
put exactly one less level in the PlayStation version. Yeah.
It really does sound like something Microsoft would do at this rate. They're just being very petty. Like both sides are being petty at this point in
Yeah.
time.
Y'all really think Microsoft would meddle with Call of Duty on PlayStation?
Microsoft needs all the upper hand it can get at this point.
The Xbox version of the new Call of Duty is gonna get one of Master Chief's guns.
For a moment, I
not
thought
the
Drill
PlayStation version.
froze.
Because I really didn't think that you all would say yes. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I just like, what do you think they're gonna do?
The same. So you'd be very surprised at how. Actually, no, you wouldn't be very surprised because you usually bring it up. But like when it comes to having a game on I have to sneeze. Excuse me. On different systems, like for example, the Warzone version of the PC version of Warzone 2.0 is absolute dog shit. Like I know people who have computers with almost the latest peripherals and whatnot, and they're like yeah, like I'm still suffering frame rates. We're getting things aren't rendering correctly and stuff, and that's the PC version. Like I tried it on my PC and I was like I'm about to to throw my PC out because what's going on. Like I just upgraded my PC and I can't run Warzone, but then I get on my PlayStation and it's running like it should be running on my PC. So you'd be very surprised about the little technical things they could throw in to make it not exactly work correctly with the PlayStations.
Well,
My sneeze disappeared. I'm angry.
I'm sorry. Sony posted that if the merger were to go through, Microsoft would have the incentive to allow Call of Duty to fail on PlayStation, as well as receive a higher revenue share for its content than if Activision was an independent entity. Additionally, Sony argues that there would be no way for it or the CMA to monitor the quality of Call of Duty to ensure that the PlayStation version receives fair allocation of Microsoft's development resources.
Okay, so that sounds like they're talking about the actual online servers.
I disagree, but okay. Okay. That didn't read to me as online. That read to me as like actual quality of the game, like preventing it from being like 4K, or like rather preventing it from being developed to utilize the PlayStation in the way that it used to be developed, to make it better on Xbox, like graphically, performance-wise, than it would be on PlayStation. However, there would be no real way to like accuse them of doing that, but also it makes sense that it would also be multiplayer, like from that standpoint as well. So I actually do agree with you. I take back what I said.
I can't imagine the press statement where Microsoft says, "We haven't forgotten about our audience on PlayStation as well. We are proud to offer all Call of Duty games in beautiful 720p."
They'll release the Switch version for their 10-year contract is going to be the same.
Switch version and PlayStation will have parity.
Like they're both cloud-based now. Good fucking luck. And if you want to play for real, you better get it on fucking Xbox, or you can play the cloud-based version.
Oh man, that's fun.
Pixel artist Kazuko Shibuya was interviewed by the Apple App Store. I'm sure none of you checked out this interview, right?
No, I don't.
It
I don't
is
know what you're talking about.
such a good interview. She redesigned the pixel art for the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, and she's the only person from the original Final Fantasy design team that is still at Square Enix. And this was for Women's History Month, and Women's International Women's Day rather. And the interview is really wonderful. You should all check it out, or any listener should definitely go read it. I'll put it in the description. And she talks about how she was limited to working on pixel art 30 years ago with like 3 colors. Sorry.
Hey yo,
It's
a wonderful night to it is a wonderful night to mow the lawn. Let's go.
That was a helicopter.
That was a helicopter.
Yeah. I hope everything. Last time a helicopter. Never mind.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Hey yo, that's for the post show,
yes,
which doesn't exist.
So yeah, she was talking about how when she first started, she had like 3 colors to work with, and it was really hard to make designs of like pixel art, and like she really struggled. I don't want to say struggled, but like she's been able to develop pixel art into what it is today. And she talks about how the industry is still hard for women, but she's leading the next generation into pixel art. And it's really fascinating because she also talks about how she had to design the character's 3D model in her mind to be able to then make the pixels that work with the proper colors, and just how the process has evolved since 30 years ago. And I just thought it was so fascinating, especially because she is like the only member, the only original Final Fantasy design team member from like mind you, she started on the original Final Fantasy, like the first one.
Yeah,
and she's still
awesome.
there. And she was talking about how the Pixel remaster allowed her to go back and really work on and redo designs she did 30 years ago, and like just how things have processed. And it's a beautiful interview. She looks gorgeous, she looks beautiful, like she's wonderful. She's setting up the next generation for pixel remasters and pixel artwork, and you can just look at original Final Fantasy pixels and then the remasters and just see how far we've come. And there is also an all black male voice actors for the all-star lead performance of Beast Pirates.
Oh yeah,
Now someone can tell me what Beast Pirates is.
That's for One Piece.
Pirate.
One Piece, like
Why they
the
gotta be beasts? Why they can't be regular? Why you gotta call black people beasts? Why you gotta get? Why are all the beasts?
I don't know why that article called them the Beast Pirates. They are the Animal Kingdom pirates. Because Kaido the listen. Kaido the villain of the current arc of One Piece. His entire crew has the ability to turn into animals, like all of them, every single one of them. So they're called the Animal Kingdom pirates because they literally can all turn into animals. That's all.
What animals do they turn into?
That sounds like the lagoon.
One of the
Fire Emblem.
Okay, so one of them.
Don't answer the animals.
No, answer it. I want to know what animals they turn into.
All 3 gorillas. Is that what you're looking for? Is that what we're fishing for here? Is that what we're doing?
I'm just kidding.
Is that what we're doing here?
I want to see what animals they turn into.
They turn into dinosaurs.
Okay. That's not the Animal Kingdom. That is not the Animal Kingdom.
Oh, that's all.
Dinosaur?
Yes.
But you're right. At least it's not gorillas. I'm happy it's not gorilla.
No, in fact, none of them turn into gorillas. Like, no one in his crew turned into gorillas.
I literally
Man,
cannot believe Brandon just turned around and said, "Do you want to call a fucker?"
Yeah, what do you want here? What are you trying to do here?
That was the most like racist attack I've ever experienced.
I know what y'all fishing for, so I was like Gabe was ready.
He just yelled at me that the black people.
I yelled at Gabe because he's like, "Yeah, what animals, Brandon? What animals they turn into?"
If you would like to know,
My dad's
Gabe
side of the family is
half
black, so
you
that's
technically were
half
yelling at him.
racist.
And you yelling at his half black side makes me feel like you were also talking to me.
So you're out here saying taking AOE of damage. That's
I
crazy.
am taking AoE damage from the racist. Yeah, you know, I apologize because Brandon did post this and it was supposed to be positive.
It was. I'm happy. I love them. I love those pirates. They're like the coolest characters in that arc, and I was like, let's go.
Okay, but all these pirates are white.
Not all of them.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
So it doesn't.
And also remember, like, what you're looking at is probably like manga stills. They haven't been drawn yet. Bitches ain't white. That guy in the middle is not white.
Like I said, they're not.
Person.
Wait.
He is a person.
How?
Who gives a shit if they're white though? They're being voiced by black men.
Well, that's why it would be okay if they were gorillas because they're white, so it wouldn't be racist. How is that a person? That's not a person.
The one in the middle, he's a person. He is a
What
person.
was he wearing?
Where are his eyes?
He's wearing a mask. He's not white
so
though.
So we don't know if he's. So what is he? Hispanic?
Green,
'Cause that's
probably.
also racist.
He's
That's not a
Not
color. Hispanic is not a color.
You're right. That's his ethnicity. So is he not? If he's not black, that makes
I
him
was-
white.
I was trying to dance around it because it is kind of a spoiler, but yeah, he's black. He
So
actually
now
is
it
black.
is racist.
All right.
He's not racist, he's not a gorilla.
All right, move on.
Okay, fine. Oh man. So Warner Bros. and Rocksteady have delayed Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League again from May to later this year. A lot of people had issues with the presentation. This is another game that is like extra problem to me. It looks like exactly what it was meant to be, which is, and I know people are going to disagree with me on this, but it literally looks like you grab 4 friends, you run around, shoot all the purple shit, and have fun. Like, that's what it's meant to be. I know that a lot of people are like, Rocksteady is really great, and they made, you know, the Batman games that are lauded and got all these awards, and they're so awesome. Like, why would they go back and make a trashy, like, multiplayer game? Like, and, like, why not? This shit's fun. I think the audience for
Because
this game
Terrell, we live in an age where everything has to be at the utmost scale of what it can be. It's not about having fun; it's about looking good.
But it looked
Right.
fine.
If your Harley Quinn is not wearing all legendary gear, are you even playing the game? Like, what are we doing here?
Okay, so that is the only complaint that I will accept, which is I don't really care for like RPG elements and like loot and all that nonsense. Just like fucking, I don't care. Just let me shoot around with my friends.
Get your drops. Now here's the thing though. Even if I don't play, it's so funny. Even if I don't play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, they did tease that like there's gonna be other characters getting dropped. I'm just curious what other characters they actually add to the roster, even if I don't play the game, because you know I just like DC. So it'd be
Watch the
interesting.
movies. Probably add those guys.
Yeah, like they could add the other characters, like from say The Suicide Squad by James Gunn.
Yeah,
Like
Peacemaker.
like some of those characters. Peacemaker would go crazy. I would love if they added Peacemaker.
That weird weasel thing.
Yeah, him. Right. The weird weasel.
I don't remember his name. He was in
I know who you're
Activision.
talking
Weasel,
about.
isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just the Weasel.
Oh, it's Weasel. Oh, Weasel. I'm sorry. I've seen so many people like make the "this is what my sister looks like" joke. That like his name slipped my mind because now I just think of it like, oh, someone's ugly sister.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, bro. People were ruthless with that thing.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
I wonder if they would make playable Amanda Waller.
Okay,
I wonder if
well,
they would do
so
that.
I'm
What's she gonna
assuming
do?
that
Sit
none
there and
of,
scream at people and threaten to blow them up?
I'm assuming that none of
Yeah.
you guys have issues with the game being delayed or don't care.
I don't.
Oh, no, yeah, right. I'm in the middle of I don't care and kind of care. That's where I'm at right now.
Oh,
But I will
really?
say the delay is ultimately good for the game because when it was coming out, there was like way too much coming out. If it had stayed where it was, there was a good chance I was not playing this game. Now that it's delayed, maybe. I think that also needs an open beta, much like Exo Primal is getting. So that will probably make me care
Why does
if
it
they don't
need
get
an
that
open
open
beta?
beta.
You literally see.
So I
exactly
can
what
know
it
if I
is.
no.
No, it's literally just so
Me.
Brandon can know what the
okay.
game is like.
I was like,
The gameplay looks like it could be fun, but I need to get hands on.
Just play Spider-Man.
I did.
like
It was great.
you
Yeah, it's
literally
just
see
play it again.
Exactly what this game is.
Harley Quinn is basically Spider-Man.
All right, well, the new Mario trailer came out. That's a
Hell
thing.
yeah.
If you haven't watched it, go
Yeah.
check it out. I like everyone's voices now.
Like Grinder.
What?
Oh, the Luma. Say the other line, Christy. What was the other line that Luma said?
I don't know. I just know the first one.
Oh man, the other line was like, "There's no escape. The only escape is the sweet release of death."
That.
Yo, this has gotten very weird. I'm gonna move on.
That Luma, I love that Luma.
First of all, Christy, I thought she was talking about something completely different, and I was like,
I heard Grinder.
I did too, and I was like, I know my phone was just open, but like, there's no fucking way.
Hey yo,
And then I realized that that's what the little Luma says.
yeah.
And then Brandon was doing a pedophile voice, and now I just want to move on. So I'm gonna move on.
That's why I wanted Christy to say it, but she didn't know the line. I wasn't gonna let it just like not get said. So we rolled the dice, and unfortunately, I hit that snake eyes. What can we do?
You did a good job, though. That's why it was so scary, because you did a good job. Oh, man. Yeah, go watch the trailer. Don't listen to any of us recreate anything. Just go watch the trailer. So Square Enix CEO
Just watch the
Activision's
trailer.
upcoming slate of games this year, which includes Final Fantasy 16, is perhaps too good, because how are they going to grow the year after that? Which, obviously, these companies do lots of year-over-year comparisons. You always want to do better than you did last year. And this year, we've had Theater Rhythm, Paranormasight, Forspoken, oh my god, I can't think off the top of my head. Square Enix has put out a bunch of really small
Octopath
titles.
Traveler 2.
Thank you, Octopath. Oh my god, the one.
How
I'm
did you know?
fucking
How
playing.
did you not get
I know.
Octopath Traveler 2?
Listen,
Oh my god.
I'm sick.
Supposedly, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth
Well, no, I'm
is
just talking
coming
about
out.
the ones that are already out.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now Jarrell's gonna play Octopath Traveler 2 and head directly to Sunshade.
I'm not gonna comment. So this is a quote from the Q&A. While I think it's fair to expect growth in fiscal year 2024, in part because you plan to release multiple major titles, I also fear that it will create a year-over-year hurdle you will be unable to surmount in 2025. Well, 2023 to 2024, from then 2024 to 2025. What kind of incentives do you have in mind to ensure sustainable growth? The answer was major title launches will not be consecrated solely in fiscal year 2024-23. We have organized our pipeline so that we will have a good spread of new releases in fiscal year 2025 and beyond as well. We hope that you will look forward to the blockchain games we plan to launch in fiscal year 2024 and thereafter. So they're really betting on this NFT shit to make up for the loss of not being able to surpass, basically, as Chrissy was saying, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth supposedly, and Final Fantasy 16, and Octopath Traveler 2, and any other really good selling games that they've got from this year. So they're really doubling down on this blockchain NFT thing.
It's not like that they have Kingdom Hearts 4 in the works.
Yeah,
And other titles in the works.
Can you say that again? I don't understand.
Oh, it's not like that they have Kingdom Hearts 4 in the works that's being developed currently.
What do you mean by saying that?
They have other games in their back pocket that they can reach into. There's no reason why they need to go into the NFTs.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was on me, not you. I apologize. So basically, you're saying they don't need to go into NFTs. They can literally just pull out some games that they're working on. Well, I think...
Yeah, they can also, this poor Final Fantasy 13 series. People have been asking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bring that. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think the real concern... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I thought Gabe was going to say something.
I was going to say something, but Jarrell spoke first.
No, go ahead. Because you're going to...
My hope is that... I am. Thank you for remembering how old I am. My fear is that I don't... Old people forget things, bro. Is that I hope they don't lose so much money from the blockchains and the NFT stuff that it affects, Dragon Quest 12 and Kingdom Hearts 4. But yeah. I feel like they're actually relying on the blockchain and NFTs to carry them after Rebirth comes out.
Okay, yes.
They also have
Our heads
games.
now and say something. Thank you.
No, yeah.
Everyone was just like...
No, I think you're right, but I also think that's why there's such a concern. That's why this question was asked, right? Because what do they have in the pipeline that we know that's big? Dragon Quest 12, Kingdom Hearts, and we're talking about past 2020, past this year. So we're talking about past FF16 and past FF7 Rebirth. We know 2 titles, right? And a lot of what they've been putting out has been smaller indie titles that are not going to make the same amount of money, no matter how good they are, no matter how well they're performing. And then you have the continuation of Final Fantasy 14, and that's all we know as far as Square Enix for big titles, right? Luminous Productions is no longer a thing. They're not developing anything on their own. Square earlier last year sold off a bunch of other studios that were under them as well. So really,
they sold off their Western branch.
Yes, so really we don't know that there's anything aside from Kingdom Hearts 4 and Dragon Quest 12, and that's why this question came about, because what the fuck are y'all doing next year? And their answer was blockchain games. That's how we're gonna make continuous money, because we don't have a plan. Which is why
we have some big DLCs lined up.
Yeah, that's why we're
release them.
When was the last?
Where's episode Noctis?
When was the last not Fire Emblem? When was the last Final Fantasy 14 big update?
Last year? The expansion?
Last year, yeah. So I guess this next year is another one.
That's one game for 2025.
Yeah, but that's one game. Then plus
ready because he's doing FF16. Because you got the same man working on all this shit. The same people working on all the same.
But potentially for what year are we in? 2024, we have the next DLC for.
And also, that's even.
Well, I forgot.
That's even.
Wasn't. Oh, I was going to say, wasn't there a leak that they're remaking Final Fantasy 9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's even assuming that Dragon Quest 12 and Kingdom Hearts 3 are coming out in the next 3 to 5 years.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
I would hope Kingdom Hearts 3 would come out. It's already been out.
I don't know what the fuck I meant. Kingdom Hearts 4 and Dragon Quest 12. That's assuming that they're gonna come out in 2025, which who even fucking knows?
Yeah, but then that offers the question: does their current slate of games have enough to hold them over? Okay, that's a surprise.
Well, even then, it's they can still reach into their back pockets. People have been asking for, the DLC for Luna and some other for Final Fantasy 15, and yet they're just going to let the Final Fantasy 15 franchise go into all these weird mobile games.
Because mobile games have made decent amounts of money for them.
Didn't they shut
True.
down that
A
the
a
Final Fantasy uh Battle Royale
Yes, they
because it
did.
was
Yeah,
pretty
they
bad?
they just shut down the one for Final Fantasy 7, the Battle Royale for 7.
Yeah, the first loader's gone.
And
Uh,
then I think they're about to shut down Record Keeper as well too, which people are really
Record
upset
Keeper's already
about.
down. Um,
Okay.
Gabe, I was gonna respond to what you said. What did you say?
I don't know. I said a lot of things in the past 2 minutes.
Oh shit.
I talked about
Well,
possible
Dragon Quest,
DLCs,
like
Dragon Quest 12, Kingdom Hearts
we
4.
Jarrell was saying, we don't know when Dragon
Yeah,
Quest
we
4
don't know
and
when that's
Kingdom
supposed to come
Hearts,
out.
no, Dragon Quest 12 and Kingdom Hearts 4
Oh,
will be released.
I think it was you were saying about do they have enough to hold them over, and I quickly answered no.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, no. I wanted to expand on that because we're looking at what year is this? 2023, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, like we're looking at 2023, and the whole point of this is Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, right? And Octopath Traveler 2, and I don't know what's another big Square Enix game coming this year.
It was supposed to be Forspoken, but
Oh,
we saw that.
I mean, but that's also included in this year's fiscal like count. So and Forspoken, right? Those are like three big AAA titles and one smaller title. For this year, so that's why they're asking, like, is that enough to hold you over? Of course not. Well, okay, rather, even if it is enough to hold you over, the question is, how are you going to make more money next year to be a successful company than you did this year? So like,
Mhm.
I don't even know if those two games are enough to hold them over, but if they are, how do you compete against Final Fantasy 16, which has all this hype, right? Like, it's going to be a huge thing, and you're going to release it everywhere later on, and, Rebirth, which is going to be a continuation. How do you make more money after that, is the question here. And the answer
Merch.
is, like, blockchain games. Or, yeah, like a $500 collector's edition, which like or a $10,000 statue, because who the fuck is gonna buy that?
Spend
Fucking,
hundreds of dollars
They
on this
have their
Kingdom Hearts
Nier
chest that you
series.
can't even play.
I have a near statue.
Yeah,
for
they do
$300,
have
but I ain't pay for
they,
it.
they do have several things they could bring in 2024, but it's like
Such as
again, well, near
near what?
apparently near they can make a new series or something, not new series, a new game in the series. But I'm not saying they're going to, but like
No, I want to know what
it's
you
they
think
have
they can bring.
it's that Chrono Trigger, near
Chrono
again,
Trigger,
Dragon
what?
Quest, Kingdom Hearts. They
What, a
remake that shit or
remaster, a remake
something
of Chrono
or
Trigger?
something. Yeah, and it's like, but like that's the thing though. Like, are remasters really going to be your 2024 years? That's something you want to even try, which obviously the answer is no on that. But I do think they're really stuck on their NFT and blockchain ways right now. They're
They really
really banking
are.
on that.
And the other
They really are. When their new successor, I think he came from like a company as well too. I forgot which company he came from, but he also came from a company that it wasn't. Let me look it up. Actually, keep going.
The other thing about, remaking older games is we've already seen that they don't believe, a lot of them rather, don't believe in this whole turn-based thing, right? Like, that's why FF16 is action-based. That's why they have a battle director from Capcom. Like, that's why they're switching a lot of this stuff. So even if you're talking about remaking older games like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy 9, that then turns into, like, that's not just a simple remake, like that's not just a simple remaster, rather that's something that is gonna most likely gonna have to be built from the ground up into something that's playable, that's not just some, like, unless it's like what they plan on doing with Dragon Quest, which is the HD 2D remaster of like Dragon Quest 3, I think it was, or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
they would have to do those types of things, but then how much money are those really making? Like, that is not on the competitive level with
Yeah.
something like Final Fantasy 16. Like, sure, you're going to get a lot of nostalgia money, but like, are you really going to be making enough to make more next year than you did this year from some HD 2D pixel remaster of Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy 9? Or are you going to then have to divest a ton of money into creating some type of remaster of Final Fantasy 9, and hoping that that the fans come through? The point is, I don't know what they're going to do. And apparently, I do, which is they're going to rely on Neon Genesis and some other blockchain games. So we'll see how Square does this upcoming year. And whenever Christy finds it, we'll get back to that. But the story trailer for the Lord of the Rings Gollum has dropped, and that is probably the ugliest version of Gollum I've ever seen. Definitely check it out if you haven't. That's a thing that happened this week also. There was a new statement from Sony.
If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, I'm just letting you know now you're going to be disappointed with that trailer, so don't look at it.
Well, the game. There was a new statement from Sony that says Microsoft's current Call of Duty offer will irreparably harm competition. It says it was Microsoft that requested redactions of the public filing of the deal it offered to PlayStation. So I'm going back to this. There was a little bit of back and forth because the docket was made public, but there were lots of redacted statements. And PlayStation's like, that wasn't us, that was them. They don't want y'all to see that they're trying to bullshit us on this business deal. The redacted versions of the observations filed by SIE and Microsoft on the CMA's remedies notice were made public this week. Information regarding the terms of an offer made by Microsoft to provide future Call of Duty releases on PlayStation was redacted at the request of Microsoft. We believe their current offer will irreparably harm competition and innovation in the industry. So I looked at this a little bit. And it's funny because a lot of what's redacted is like monetary amounts. So it's very much like, here, this is what we did. We offered them this, but we're not going to tell you exactly what it was. And PlayStation's like, you see, like they're fucking up because they're the ones that are blocking a lot of this shit. So I'll read you guys some of it. As the CMA is aware, SIE made known its concerns about the transaction to Microsoft almost a year ago. In the intervening period, Microsoft has not shown any real commitment to reaching a negotiated outcome. They have dragged their feet, engaged only when they sensed the regulatory outlook was darkening, and they favored negotiating in the media over engaging with Sony. Microsoft's most recent proposal, which SIE received, blank, 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 is telling. Standard of parity obligation. Microsoft's proposal does not offer a clear commitment to parity that is legally hard-edged and enforceable, despite its repeated public utterances to the contrary. Under its proposal, Microsoft is obliged to use blank, 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 blank parity between PlayStation and Xbox and their respective MSG services. This is a vague and weak commitment that does not give Sony the assurance that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation on terms that would maintain PlayStation's competitiveness. So basically, that one's just like, they're going to use this bullshit to make this game, and we feel like that's trash. But they won't tell us, Microsoft won't let us know what it is that they're going to do to make this game, and PlayStation's like, well, if y'all knew what the fuck wasn't redacted, you would know why the fuck we're like, no, this shit is unacceptable. So yeah, any thoughts on this one?
It's funnier and funnier every time we bring up Sony versus Microsoft.
I have thoughts on it, but they are redacted.
I didn't even read my favorite one. I'm gonna read my favorite one and then I'll move on. Microsoft's proposal allows...
whenever you're done, I have an update.
Okay.
Of the Square Enix thing.
Microsoft's proposal allows too wide a scope for Microsoft to deviate from its weak commitment on parity. Under the proposed terms, Microsoft would blank, a lot of blank. This is a vague and low bar that would essentially blank, 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 blank. Then Microsoft would be willing to invest. Now, we could try to fill in the blanks here. But PlayStation said whatever the fuck they're proposing is vague and low bar, and it would essentially do some shit, and it would cost more money than Microsoft is willing to invest. So what I got from that is PlayStation's like, look, our standard is this much money. Y'all aren't putting in enough money to keep our standard, which is this much money. Y'all don't want to invest money to make sure that we're moving forward, and the amount of commitment you have to making this work is weak. You weak bitches. That's what I read from that. What do you guys think?
That paraphrase. That's a good paraphrase.
I feel like that's pretty much what it says.
Hey, those are blanks. For all we know, that could be verbatim.
Right?
Well,
I read the actual
or the bitches and everything.
Straight up.
Anyways, for the Square Enix update, let me see. Oh my goodness, I am so tired.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So is
It's fine.
so
Pokemon City
Kiru's
comes out of
previous
promotion.
job was at Dentsu, which involves scouting of
Oh.
new and disruptive technologies, and it was heavily leveraged in NFTs, the metaverse, and Web 3.0.
And
So he
that's
is
why he's the
really
president. He's the new president. He was like, you
he's gonna be
don't
the
know
new
about
one.
NFTs. I worked with them. I'm gonna show you how to make all. And like, it's so funny because Meta just lost a ton of money on NFTs, didn't they? And they closed like Meta, the
Yeah,
Facebook
and
thing.
they're now
Yeah,
like laying off like
they're suspending
11,000
their NFT
people.
stuff.
But you know, if that's not a lesson, what will be?
No.
NFTs in the future, bro.
This also says that Sony would be forced either to raise the price of its MSG services or not offer Call of Duty on MSG at all. I don't know what MSG
What is MSG?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I was just like, the more I read this, the more I was like, Microsoft, y'all sounding real fishy here. Like, I don't know what y'all are doing, but I'm low key like Team Sony on this because a lot of this just sounds like y'all aren't willing to invest the amount of money that PlayStation, or I mean, it could obviously just be PlayStation being like, no, you guys, we need this, this, and that. And Microsoft's like, no, bitch, y'all didn't have this shit before. We're not giving it to you now. Yes, Gabe.
So MSG might stand for making sense of games. Build a mythology for the humanistic study of games and develop a theory of how ludic meaning
Oh,
is
you know what?
produced.
I'm sorry. It's MGS, not MSG. I'm
MGS.
Damn,
MGS.
Metal Gear Solid. Let's go.
MGS.
The whole thing is actually about Metal Gear. It's not
Yeah,
about Call of
literally,
Duty.
I was like, Metal Gear.
literally when I look up
Gear Solid.
what is MGS in game development, the very first thing is Metal Gear Solid.
Let's go!
Because the whole thing is actually about Metal Gear Solid, and that's why Microsoft doesn't want you to know, because they're not even continuing Call of Duty. Activision is now making Metal Gear Solid. Ay ay ay.
Oh, man.
It's actually
it is
not giving me a real answer.
it's some type of business model. MGS is some type of business model. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It says a yearly subscription to PlayStation Plus Extra, SA's mid-tier MGS service. Oh, so I guess it's like their like yearly services. The MGS mid-tier service is priced at around $100, and the buy-to-play retail price of Call of Duty today is around $70. Under Microsoft's proposed terms, SIE would therefore be required to pay blank, which would leave SIE with only blank full $100 annual subscriptions. So I guess MGS is their like tiers of like they're rather their service plans for the year, or at least that's what it reads like. And they're just like, look, it costs $70 to get Call of Duty now, and it costs $100 for our service. If you put, I'm assuming this is about putting Call of Duty on their $100 tier service, or charging people. This kind of makes sense to me. It's like either you put Call of Duty for free on their $100 service, because no one's gonna want to play. No one's going to want to pay $70 for Call of Duty, especially if you get it for free on Xbox. So what I think this is about, despite all of the redacted text, is like their conversation about the amount of money that they want to pay to get Call of Duty on their highest tier, right? I don't know, like you guys could agree or disagree, but it sounds like no, they're saying you guys are going to put Call of Duty on Game Pass and it's going to be free, and then we're going to have to charge people $70 for it because we can't put it on our service because you won't let us, and we're going to have to spend this amount of money, or we're going to lose this amount of money, or we're going to have to make this amount of money to be able to put it on there, and you're not helping us get there. That's what it reads to me. Anyway, I spent too much time on this. Okay. Square Enix has conceded that sales of its action role-playing game Forspoken fell below its expectations. I brought this up because This is very annoying.
I have a question. What were their expectations?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's why I brought this up. I think I'm gonna look now, but I think a problem with Square is that they set really high fucking expectations that are almost and I don't think this article goes into what their expectations were. I think it was just like a blanket statement of let me see. Okay, I'll just read you the statement because, yeah, it doesn't go into what their expectation was. It says, reviews of Forspoken was released on January 24th, 2023, have been challenging, said Square Enix president and representative director Yosuke Matsuda in a February financial results briefing detailing the fortunes of the past year. However, the game has also received positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and combat capabilities, so it has yielded results that will lead to improvement of our development capabilities of other games in the future. He admitted that sales of the game have been lackluster and that there was considerable downside risk to our financial year 2023 earnings. So apparently it really fucked them over. Luminous Productions is meanwhile equipped not only with AAA title development capabilities but also technical expertise in areas such as game engine development. Combining the two entities will further enhance the group's ability to develop HD games. So, yeah, they don't really go into what the... this was from IGN. I can check to see if I can find them, if this loads. Yes, here it is. Damn,
Because
I don't
didn't
wanna
a
go
while
through this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, like a while ago, didn't they deem like the Tomb Raider series a failure because it didn't? They said like Final Fantasy expectations for the game
Yep.
or for the reboot,
Yep.
and then after that, it made under, and they were like, "This is a complete failure," and everybody's like, "But what do you mean? This is
It
like the
made a lot
highest
of money.
selling
Yes.
Tomb Raider game. What are you
Exactly.
talking about?"
Yep. I can find it here for you guys. I'm sorry. Apologies to everyone watching. I'm sick, so you know it is what it is. Yeah, so something else that was interesting from this was they were asked what their platform strategy was for the forthcoming new titles, and the answer was, we intend to maintain the multi-platform strategy that we've adopted to date. Another question was, how much impact could Forspoken, which launched in January, have on your result? And the answer was, I will refrain from answering that question in quantitative terms, partly because the title has just been released, and partly because the answer will hinge on how sales will trend once we have rolled out some forthcoming promotional initiatives. And then another question was, 2024 is the final year for your medium-term earnings targets. What is your stance going to be on disclosing earnings, outlooks, and forecasts going forward? And the answer was, our current pipeline makes us confident about our medium-term earnings targets. We're currently deliberating internally about our approach to disclosing earnings forecasts going forward. They have stuff here for like FF14 and Dragon Quest X, and well, mostly the MMO segment and how much they've made like year over year, but I don't see anything specifically for Forspoken in here. But they also mentioned things like Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Dragon Quest Treasures, Outriders, Nier Replicant, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, all of these games, which, I mean, if we take a look at, you know, their performance and the amount of money they made, do you guys think that any of those met sales goals based on just your own gamer knowledge?
Unfortunately, I think Guardians underperformed. I think I remember hearing about that. Like, it reviewed very well, but I don't think it performed, like, certainly not to their expectations, at least. I don't know the hard data on Nier Replicant. It definitely didn't even come close to Automata, but I think it did okay. I have no idea on the other ones.
I mean, Yoko Taro likes to say he's in the Square dungeons.
He
does.
literally is always just like, will it make money? Sure, throw Nier in it. Not a problem. Wait, so Crisis Core, like, I just want your like thoughts. Like, there's Crisis Core, Dragon Quest Treasures, like Nier Replicant you already answered. You answered Guardians of the Galaxy, Outriders. Like, if you were investing in Square Enix, do you think that those games performed well? I know Brandon already answered. This is for mostly Chrissy and Gabe. Like, what are your thoughts on
I
those
think
titles?
Crisis Core met expectations. But with the fact that Square, during the last half of last year, they were releasing games so close together, people had to pick and choose what games they wanted. So, of course, some games will underperform.
Very true. It's the same thing with last month, too, because Theater Rhythm and Octopath Traveler 2 came out on the same month. And I have heard stories of people who love Square Enix, but they had to make a choice.
You know, it's I just okay. I agree with everything Christy said. What about you, Gabe?
I don't understand the question.
How do you think the following games perform for Square Enix? Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Dragon Quest Treasures, Dragon Quest X, Outriders, Nier Replicant, and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Just
We can
based
take
on
Dragon
your own
Quest.
knowledge.
We can take Dragon Quest off that because that's a Japanese only game.
Treasures?
Treasures is not a Japanese only game.
No, 10.
Oh, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Treasure. Yeah, I'm gonna look at treasures.
Rip.
I don't know because again we follow such a different gaming audience, so like it's
No, but
hard
that's
for
why
me
I'm
to
asking
see.
your specific opinion based on just what you follow, not like
To me,
in
they
general.
underperformed as hell.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Like their biggest ones from what I saw and from the crowd that I see was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I would not consider that the biggest one out of all of those.
But that's the thing though. Like since we follow such a
No, that's
diverse
why I
group of
asked,
gaming things, yeah, like it's like to me because like I saw a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw one or two people talking about Crisis Core, and then that like they literally did one tweet and then that was it. And then everything else was just kind of like it's like Chrissy said, everything was just released so close together. It's like
I actually
I'm
think
just
they
gonna play
all
what I
just
can.
underperformed like shit. The
Yeah.
only person I know
Well-
that played Nier Replicant is Brandon, and I know Nier fans that like sure they did play it, but like based on my own like experience, nobody played Nier Replicant. Like everybody bought and didn't finish Crisis Core, and like that's just not. And I say everybody, and I mean just like everyone who was interested that was going to buy it, and that's like not a lot of people. I think they put a lot of emphasis on Crisis Core, and it like I can't tell you
It was
5
released at a
people
bad
that bought that
timing.
game. Outriders.
It was
Mhm.
such bad timing for Crisis Core because you had Harvestella being released and that became a sleeper hit after people played the demo. Then you had Pokemon.
Yeah.
People are still
Mhm.
playing Pokemon. What were they
Yeah.
thinking? I mean, it might be the same situation with Rebirth where they do a December release. I mean, if there's a new Pokemon game,
I don't think there's
God
a
knows.
Pokemon game, but what do I know? Maybe you're right, Christy.
God knows
Outriders.
what's going on.
Outriders, everybody played it on Game Pass and didn't pick it back up. Dragon
Yeah,
Quest
I bought that
Treasures,
game.
5 people played.
I bought that Outriders game because it was on sale on the PlayStation Store. It was like one of the the deluxe editions. I had a bunch of shit. I still haven't downloaded that fucking game.
See? So if that's any indication of how they did last
I got
year,
Tactics Org. I haven't
like,
finished it.
what they're going forward to, it's rough out here.
See, if they spaced out their releases for 2022 and made some flow into 2024, they wouldn't be in the situation of relying on NFTs. What am I saying?
Well, I think that's kind
That's
of
right there.
I think that's kind of what he said. Aside from the relying on NFTs, he was like, we do have some other like we are spacing out the titles this year, but we're also relying on NFTs. But like, you're 100% correct, Chrissy. Like I like yes, what Chrissy said. Just fucking space out your game.
They
I also
could have
feel like
released
a lot of these
Harvestella in
games didn't really get
2024,
advertised.
and people would still love it.
I saw a tweet that was like Square
Tactics,
Enix. Go ahead, sorry.
Tactics, it has their own fan base. Released it in 2024, right off the edges of like Fire Emblem Engage. Once that game releases all the DLC, say, oh yeah, guess what? There's a new Tactics game coming out.
Go
Play
this one now.
Tactics. Go play this one. Oh, great.
I saw
People
it's
weren't going to buy Tactics Org and then after that have to pay like another $60 for Fire Emblem in January.
yeah, and that was also just like there was very little promo for that, and it's crazy because that was a game that people like actually would have played if it had. Yeah, I saw a tweet that was just like Square Enix likes to promote like their worst games, and then like all their good games they don't promote very well.
That's that's so true though. But like, for example, like Dragon Quest has its own verified Twitter account. I think they put up maybe one thing about that game as it was coming out, and then they never said anything again. And it's like okay, like if you're gonna advertise off your main page, and you have all these other pages that you have people running that are verified accounts, be annoying on well, not be annoying, but like do your marketing on that because you like okay, yes, some of those have big names attached to them, but that's not always gonna work. Like, can you? I'm not gonna use that because I'm gonna contradict myself there. But like, for example, could you have imagined if the Pokemon games like did not release as many videos as they did? I mean, given they could have slowed down a little bit, but like if say like they had one trailer in
A tweet,
September and then that was it. That was
yeah.
it until the release date. Like people would have been like, and the problem with that would have been like, oh, we didn't get any visuals for Pokemon, but all of a sudden these people that are playing the game are saying, there's a bunch wrong with it. I'm not gonna want to buy the game. That's the trouble you can get into. So it's like advertise your games. And Forspoken was another one because we talked about that last year. We were like, Forspoken got announced and we haven't seen shit about it. And then we got one trailer after we said that, and then we got one more trailer before it came out, and it was like,
And the problem with that was just the
what?
way it was marketed as well. Like everybody just jumped onto, oh my god, this game's horrible, like horrible writing, and that just destroyed it, right? Like that was it. Like you,
Yeah,
it's also about the way that you market this stuff. Like Pokemon is really, really smart because they give you little tidbits of like, oh, this is new, this is fun. Look at this new Pokemon.
the
Like
same shit over and
we're
over
gonna
again.
like we're not gonna the rest of it's gonna be a secret, and then you get the game and it's broken as shit. But like they did a really good job
But
of
you want to
hyping
know
this
the
game up.
secret.
Exactly. And Forspoken, it's like, hey, here's everything, this is what we got, this is what you're gonna play, this is like a fun sizzle reel of the character, and people just weren't feeling it, and it just went downhill from there. And then Tactics Ogre got a tweet, and Dragon Quest Treasures got a tweet, and
Geofield Chronicles is a really good game, just released at a poor timing.
and
Oh, is it
had
really? I've been looking at buying that game.
barely any
You
advertisement.
can try the demo first and see if you like it. The battle is a bit slow, but overall it was interesting.
See, look at that.
Story's
All it takes is a little
interesting.
bit of advertising, and you already got another fan there.
See?
Looking to download the fucking game.
Hire
That's how easy
Christy.
it is.
She will advertise her games for you better than you can.
Facts.
President Bowser defends $70 Zelda pricing. Says Nintendo is
Wrong.
still very bullish about what? Did you say
Sorry. No, I
wrong?
was talking to myself. Yeah, no. Not what you said is right, but his reasoning for it is wrong.
Okay. While the upcoming The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom might just be the most hotly anticipated video game of all time, the announcement that the title would cost $70 on release opened up the conversation about how much we are willing to pay for a game in 2023. In an interview with AP News, he reaffirmed the company's stance that this is not Nintendo's standard pricing going forward, and all games will be judged on an individual basis. Which I want to talk about. I'm going to come back to that. Talking specifically about Tears of the Kingdom, Bowser seems certain that the game would be worthy of such a price point. Quote, we look at what the game has to offer. I think fans will find this is an incredibly full, deeply immersive experience. The price point reflects that type of experience that fans can expect when it comes to playing this particular game. This isn't a price point that we'll necessarily have on all our titles. It's actually a fairly common pricing model either here or in Europe, other parts of the world, where the pricing may vary depending on the game itself. Okay, he also went on to say, focusing instead on the success of Nintendo's current console, which he is still feeling very bullish about, as he hinted towards a very strong lineup coming to the Switch in the future. There's another piece of content here, but I don't think I'm going to have time to talk about it, but it was talking about these. He made a comment about the Switch successor, I believe. Yes, well, I'll just throw it in here really quick because we're running out of time. And this was from GameStop, titled "Switch 2. Nintendo has nothing to announce, but says the next console aims to surprise and delight." Quote: We're entering uncharted territory. Whoa, with the platform. The Nintendo Switch now is its 7th year, and the system continues to put up big time sales numbers. That being said, people always want to know what's next. Nintendo marketing executive Doug Bowser told the AP that he has nothing to announce about the next Nintendo hardware, but overall the company feels very bullish about the current model. And that was the quote: "We're entering uncharted territory with the platform. It's exciting to see the demand is still there." I'm sorry. I'm reading this really bad. I'm breathing through my mouth at the same time because I can't breathe right now. So I'm going to let you guys talk about the $70 price point and Doug Bowser's defense. I'll let Gabe start since he feels a type of way about it.
If my Switch isn't blowing a hurricane out of the little fan port playing the Zelda game, it should not be $70 because what he said basically amounts to, we have pushed this game to push the Switch to its utmost limits, and he does this every time I talk. I'm getting sick of it, and now he's leaving for a little bit. I'm gonna murder him.
It's literally just because I've run out of tissue and I have to blow my nose. I'm gonna run across the tissue. I'll be right back.
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
Every time I talk, I get it.
Do you want me to not breathe until
No,
Brandon
you go
and Christy talk?
blow your nose. Go blow your nose because
Okay,
I don't want
I'm
a little
sorry.
bit to just drip out by accident.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, as I was saying, the way he's making it sound is like this is the game that is finally gonna push the Switch to what it was, I guess, supposed to be able to do. I don't know. As me, I guess you can call me a cheapskate, but like I will never agree with video games being priced over $60. I don't even like them being priced at $60. I'm very mad when that became a norm thing, but it has to do with what is it? Not price and demand. Supply and demand, whatever it is. That's saying, something interesting I did find that he said was when he was talking about that it's not going to be the norm for Switch titles coming out. He did say Switch titles coming, or something about the lineup, which is like, what titles are coming out? Because as far as we know, after Tears of the Kingdom, looking a little dry for Nintendo. But that's my opinion on the $70 price point. That game better be that. I'm telling you, my Switch better sound like it's ready to take off. I better be getting the most beautiful 1080p graphics that damn thing can give me.
Which can't handle theta rhythm. It sounds like it's about to take off. on just theta rhythm. Like I don't know what else to say.
Just Square Enix
like
can't make their games right.
So, Christy,
I mean, that is also true.
What do you think about the $70 price point for a Switch game?
The funny thing is that I was talking about my coworker about this, and she was surprised that it's taken Nintendo so long to raise up their prices for their games, and especially for like video game companies in general to raise it to 70.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of like, well, there's so much work put into it.
Yeah,
it was going to happen, and it's just more of a surprise for her.
Yeah, I think that echoes what Kelly would always say, which is like video games cost so much money. It's a shock that we're still paying $60. Brandon, what about you?
I'll keep my thoughts on this pretty short. Obviously, no one wants to spend the more money for games when they've enjoyed it at a certain price, especially if you're a Nintendo Switch player. That's just a given that no one wants to spend more money, and that's obviously fair. I'm not begrudging anyone to think that way. The real reason this is more money is because I could give the whole PR answer and say, yeah, it's putting the Switch to its absolute limits. The real answer is like this game is in such high demand for the Switch, they know they can, and people will pay the money.
I see.
Because it is Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to what many consider the best Zelda game ever made. So they're just putting it. So they're saying we'll charge $10 extra, and who's going to stop us? Were you going to not play the game if you love Breath of the Wild? It's just like exactly.
So you think it's literally just a money thing? They're like, we know we're gonna sell a lot, so we can charge $70.
This is the game they know they can get away with it. That's why they're saying that. That's why they're making the statement that it's not going to be the standard pricing. Because if they try to like Pikmin 4, they said $70. That game is going to sell 10 copies. But if they keep it at like 60, then the obviously the Pikmin fans will still buy it, and then they may, depending on how well they do the marketing, maybe they'll get a few other people. But no, they can only raise it for the games they know people are going to get no matter what.
Yeah.
So
They could also be doing it because they know they're not going to release shit in the second half of 2023.
that's a buffer too. That's true. That's true.
This
It
is
also,
true.
like a lot of people have also brought up that they have recently brought back that game voucher thing for Nintendo Switch. And a lot of people are, they're saying if you're getting the game digital, you can use the game voucher, and you're essentially at that point getting the game at the same price, if not cheaper,
But
depending on
who
how
is
well you use
getting
the
this
voucher.
game?
I actually
digitally?
told my coworker about that. I actually told my coworker.
Okay,
I'm getting 2 versions of the
that's
game.
what I was gonna say. You don't count
Okay.
because you're buying it twice.
All right.
Yeah, but
I
that's
told my coworker about it because she just, her mom got her son a Nintendo Switch over Christmas, and she was like, yeah, she's trying to find ways to get games and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, if you want a digital copy of your games, you can do the Nintendo voucher.
But don't you have to be a Nintendo Switch Online member to purchase that?
Correct.
Which
You do.
tier? Like
That's
any
what
tier?
like
I-
the basic
Any
tier
tier.
has.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
So-
but the reason why I brought it up for that reason is like people are bringing up like the voucher thing can save you the money, but then at that point that gets them more. If someone didn't already have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, well, now Tears of the Kingdom has now persuaded you to do so because
That
of
is
the potential
the
discount.
dumbest reason to get. Like, I'm
It
sorry,
sure is,
spend
but it sure
$10
is.
to
I
spend,
agree.
Like $20. Like,
Let me rephrase that. It is the best way for you to make friends with someone who has a family membership
there you go. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
and be like, hey, I will give you, here is like what, $10 or something.
No, because then you're still paying the extra $10. You gotta get on there for free. You gotta find somebody who's like, I got an extra spot. I like you. Here, you can have a free spot, and then you're gonna save money. But then you wouldn't even be saving money because now you gotta spend $100. Like you might as well just spend the $70 and save your $30.
I want to. I do
But
wanna be
if
clear. I'm not saying
if
it's
you
just.
spend $100 to get 2 games,
Who
Yeah.
needs two?
2 games
People
of your
who finish
choice.
their
It's for
games.
new.
Exactly. What
Is
that
not-
mean?
Yeah.
It's for people who are building their Switch library. I have what, 2 of my other friends. They just got a Nintendo Switch this year, and they're trying to build out their library. So I told her about it, and she's like, "Oh, her and her boyfriend are going to look into it now."
No, yeah, it's a really good deal. I'm talking shit. It's a really good deal. The problem is that not all games are included in it. Like they have a
It's very
specific
selective.
like games that you can choose, which I was like, well, that's fucking dumb. Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
What I was saying is like to be clear, like I'm not even necessarily saying like if you don't already have a Nintendo Switch Online membership, I'm not saying it's a good idea to get it specifically just for the Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm just saying, first of all, not everyone's gonna think that way. Like though, like someone will approach you and be like, "Ooh, if I get this Switch Online membership, these vouchers, then I can get 2 games." Like they're only really looking for Tears of the Kingdom, but you dangle the potential to get a second game as a discount. People hear discounts and they spend more money than they otherwise would have because in their mind they're saving money. That's just how the sales and discounts work.
Such an issue with assuming that people are only after 7 years of owning a Switch only playing fucking.
I
Tears of the
actually have a
Kingdom.
coworker. He's like, yeah, I pre-ordered Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't have a Switch yet. And it's not that he used to have a Switch and
So
it broke.
did he
He's like,
play Breath of the Wild?
no, he's like, that's another reason I'm gonna get it also so I can play Breath of the Wild, but I
But
got
then
it
that
specifically
just
for
proves
Tears
my
of the
point that
Kingdom.
no one's buying this game just
No.
to play Tears of the Kingdom.
But he's only playing Breath of the Wild
It's-
just for Tears of the Kingdom. It's because of Tears of the Kingdom.
But my
I have a
entire
coworker
point
that's doing
is
the same
that
thing.
no one is buying a Switch for just Tears of the Kingdom. You're
Correct.
going to play other games on the Switch. My
Well,
other
if
point
the
is
other
the
game
Switch
being
is-
Zelda,
it
though.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, but the way you're
It
making it
doesn't
seem
matter.
is like they're buying it for other games like Mario Kart and Mario Odyssey. No, it's specifically
It
just for the 2
doesn't
Zelda
matter.
titles.
It doesn't matter.
That's
No
when
one-
you word it like that.
How?
You're literally wording it as if they're getting a Switch to play Tears of the Kingdom and other games like
They
Mario
are.
Kart 8. No, it's just one. Okay, whatever.
Doesn't
Whatever.
matter. You don't like the way I'm saying it, but I'm not wrong here.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Okay.
Because if Tears of the Kingdom wasn't coming out, they wouldn't be getting it at this
And
point
then they
because
wouldn't
they're
be-
not going to play Breath of the Wild.
That's fair, and then they wouldn't be buying a Switch. That's totally fair. But who the fuck is buying the Switch for just a sequel to a game they've never played? No one, because
Right.
they plan on playing
That
the
we
original.
know of.
What?
Nothing.
That would be what?
Nothing.
Because they plan on playing the original. Why would you spend $300 to play? Just fucking emulate it at that point. That's dumb as fuck. Do not spend $300, $380 to $400 after you buy the fucking game. Do not spend $400 to buy one game without playing the sequel. I mean, without playing the original.
Terrell, I want you to know that the one person in Colorado is upset at you because they played Breath of the Wild on their Wii U system, and they're getting a
are
Switch specifically
right.
for
You know what?
and they're getting a Switch specifically for Tears of the Kingdom.
I stand corrected. You are right, Brandon.
That one
I
person is
forgot.
so mad at you right now.
You are correct. I take it all back. You are correct. I stand fucking corrected because I forgot that game was on the Wii U, and you're right. I'm sorry. I take it back. I was wrong.
It's the same way people are going to be buying PS5s just to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
But that's different. That's not. The
How
same.
is it different?
That's not the same, bro. That's not the same.
It is. Yes, it is, because that's not. How is that? How is it not the same? That's the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It's not.
What?
Oh, it is.
What?
It is. I'm sorry. I thought you were sorry. Did you? What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm a little medicated, okay? I'm on something. Sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. Okay.
Oh my god.
Jeez. Well, I forgot. Anyway, this $70. I was gonna talk about the $70 price point thing so we can end the podcast because I don't
Look at that little Spartita in the background.
he came all the way from Japan.
Oh wow.
And then they released them in the U.S. store, and now I feel like I spent too much money. But here we are.
Okay.
As far as the $70 price point thing, I think it's so okay. I understand that PlayStation and Xbox are now charging $70 for games. I think it's bullshit to charge $70 for a game on a system that's 7 years old. I think that PlayStation 5 and Xbox can get away with it because they're brand new systems, and I feel like that's how you ease people into a new price point. I think it's very weird to be selective about which games you're going to charge $70 for on your 7-year-old console. Like, that is such a weird, inexplicable thing to do. There is no excuse that you can give me that's gonna make me feel like it's okay for you to charge, like, because, like, if that's the case, why wouldn't you charge $70 for, like, Bayonetta, or why wouldn't you charge $70 for, like, Fire Emblem Engage? Like, why is it that Tears of the Kingdom is, like, the standard quality, and what games going forward are, like, if you're gonna do it, I don't agree with this, but I do feel like if you're gonna do it, just make all your games going forward $70. All your first party titles that are like Nintendo shit, just make them $70. Don't just be like, well, Tears of the Kingdom, we're gonna make this one because of the quality of this game. It's gonna cost $70 because like Brandon said, I completely feel like that's bullshit. But it's so weird to charge, like, it's so weird to me to charge $70 for a game on a 7-year-old system. And the only reason I think that these other titles get away with it is just solely because they're on a brand new console. And you can see the actual difference. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be able to see the difference in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm sure we all will see and feel the difference on the OLED version, right? Which is what, 2 years old now? 3 years? Two?
Yeah, it's about to approach 2.
Yeah. Okay, so the OLED system, which is about 2 years old, I'm sure we'll see a difference on that. But when you plug it in your TV, I'm afraid to say
And ADP resolution.
it's gonna be the same shit that you've been seeing. So how are you charging $70 for that? Like, either you do it, I really think either you do it across the board for all first party titles, or you wait until your successor and then you charge $70. Because there's, like, he didn't even give a real reason for, like, why it's $70. It was literally just like, yeah, it's gonna be great quality, and, you know, it costs different prices in different parts of the world already, so we're just gonna keep going with that.
We're
Like,
rolling with them.
just make them all. You know what they should do? They should make Mario Kart 9 $70. Do that. Nintendo.
I mean, by the time that game comes out, it probably will be.
That's another game they could get away with it. I think if it has around the same content as 8 Deluxe.
No, I'm sorry, but if Mario Kart 9 comes out on the Switch and they charge $7 for it, it is not going to do the same. People are going to be very upset.
Oh no! If it's let me be clear. If it's on Switch, no, because why won't people just play 8 Deluxe? Like why spend $70 for this new Mario Kart when you got 8 Deluxe, all this content? I'm talking about like for when the successor comes out, they can 100% charge $70 for that and people will buy it.
So y'all paying $70 for this game?
Absolutely.
I got the collection of this pre-order. I'm spending double for this.
I too pre-ordered the collector's edition because I said I would on Twitter. I mean, on the podcast. I regret it because it was a lot of money. Christy, are you going to be playing Tears of the Kingdom? Are you going to be paying $70 for it?
I got the collector's edition.
Wow, so all of you are paying more money. All of us are consumers.
All of us are paying more money.
Have any of you purchased a voucher for the $100 voucher for 2 games?
No, I was gonna think about it.
Digital that much.
There's really no games on that list that I want to get.
I don't do digital games. Most of my games are physical.
Bruh,
Yeah.
all of y'all were defending this shit, and all you're just like, nah,
I didn't defend it.
Nah.
I didn't defend it. I was just bringing up I was just bringing
Not for me.
Bringing up for the
physical only. Oh no, no. That was so funny. Oh, you're just like, nah. You know, the problem with that is that I was gonna buy it, and then I was like, wait a second, the game I want is it? Wait, what? Y'all choose the games for bullshit.
What games do they have on it?
I know that Fire Emblem Engage is there. I know that Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is there, and that's all I remember. So now I'm just gonna run off some news that we don't have time to cover, which is that The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be more than one season, which we already know, but it's also going to be a Blu-ray and a disc version and all that other stuff, so you can go grab that if you'd like. Across the Spider-Verse, which is the sequel to what's the
Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
They really went from Into the Spider-Verse to Across the Spider-Verse. What's
Correct,
next?
yes.
Oh my god, come on, what's next? Give me. What's next?
I mean, it's the same way they did the Tom Holland movies.
Give me the next one. Come on, Into the Spider-Verse.
Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Thank you, Brandon. Beyond the Spider-Verse. If you get that right, I'm gonna give you $1.
Cool.
All right, so Across the Spider-Verse is going to be a love story between Miles and Gwen because we love interracial love. If we didn't have it, Gabe wouldn't be here. Next up, Tekken 8 is going to have Law in it. There is a new video of Law being shown in Tekken 8, and he looks a mess. I don't know why they tried him with that hair like that, but I guess you can't keep going up because the further you go up, eventually he's going to have to come down. He looks horrible. There's an Xbox publisher sale, a Square Enix publisher sale on Xbox. Look at them trying to make money on Xbox, so go buy your Square Enix games on Xbox if you'd like. I play Power Wash Simulator on Xbox. It's actually really fun. I've surprised myself.
Have you watched the Shinra building yet?
I have not done the building. I've done the cars. I've done the motorcycle and I've done the car. I've also started on Lara Croft Manor, and I just decided I can't do this alone, so I'll be making my boyfriend do it with me. He hates it, so we'll see how that works out. Guys, wow. God, I don't remember who this is from, so I'm just not gonna say it. I'll save it for next week. And we talked about symbiogenesis. This is one that I'm sad that we won't get to talk about, but Pokemon judge receives lifetime ban following harassment of transgender players at a tournament. So, Pokemon not at Yu-Gi-Oh's level yet, but they're following in the footsteps. And that's all we have time for today. I know it was a little bit longer, but that's because we haven't been,
Off topic, Nintendo just dropped their latest game addition to the Nintendo Switch Online, the NES, and the Nintendo Switch Online library. Kirby Dream Land 2 and also Burger Time Deluxe are joining the Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online collection. Then there's Side Pocket for the Super NES. And also you have the XVS on the NES.
Xevious is okay, I guess. Dreamland 2 was the reason why I was excited. The other two, I mean, whatever. I'm covering them. It doesn't hold up in the future anyway, so I'll play them at some point.
They just announced it an hour ago while we were recording this podcast.
Christy,
so it is now available for people to play.
Are you using your NSO games?
Yep.
Christy?
Wait, hold up. They say they're now live for NSO members. So no, they as of this, if you're listening to this podcast, they're already available.
Gabe, are you using your NSO games?
Yep.
I know Brandon is. What are you playing?
Mm-hmm.
Anything Zelda?
What are
That's
you
pretty much
actually
me.
playing? Like, name a game.
Yeah.
Minish Cap, Link's Awakening. Oh,
I was
shit.
playing Ocarina of Time
I never remember what it's called because it's such a
and
long name.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
The Super Mario Advance, Super Mario World 3,
Oh
or
yeah, Super
whatever.
Mario
Yeah,
Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers
yeah,
3.
yeah. The Game Boy one. Yeah, and Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, and A Link to the Past because that is the best Zelda game to date.
Interesting. I know Brandon's playing. All right, cool. Thanks. That's for some research. Okie dokie, guys. It's late. Because why'd you make that face?
He's like, it's late.
Oh yeah, no, it's very late. I'm low-key dying. I probably won't be able to talk tomorrow, but it was worth it to see my wonderful friends again, to have a lovely little podcast episode. Hopefully next week we will be live again. Barring any complications. Thank you for everyone who continues to tune in every week, or every other week, or whenever we get a podcast. And I promise we're gonna do some wonderful innovations, and it's gonna be great. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. I know it's a long one, but enjoy it. They won't be this long going forward, but we've been gone for 2 weeks, so that's what you get. And with that, good night, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.